Well, good day everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It's a beautiful day today, and it's also a very exciting day today because I'm headed over now to Doncaster BMW Motorrad to pick up the R1300 GS Adventure, aka Rhino version 2. So I'm really excited to go there today. I want to give a big shout out to Ross Craig, who is the sales manager at BMW Motorrad Doncaster. Big thank you to him for allowing me to have the bike over the weekend and to do this 2-day review. And also thank you very much to John from Doncaster BMW Motorrad for getting all the logistics and preparing the bike for me. So I have owned a Rhino myself, the R1250 BMW GS Adventure for over 2 years now, and I think I'm in a good position to give you my thoughts about the bike. So if you're interested, stay tuned, grab a cup of coffee and join me on the adventure. Cheers. And yay, I'm here in front of Doncaster BMW Motorrad and really happy. John has kindly got the 1300 Rhino ready for me, and I've just parked it right next to my 1250 Rhino. And now I'm just going to give you a quick walkthrough just to show you how these bikes differ from each another. Alright, so let's talk a little bit on the specs of the bike. I'm not going to go too much in the technical specifications. There are a lot out there. We know that the bike is definitely heavier. The 1300 is a bit more heavier than the 1250. I tried to put on the double stand and I could actually feel the weight on it. We know that it makes more power. We know that it makes more torque. The figures are similar to what you would find on the 1300. I'll just put some of the figures on the screen here if you're really interested for you to have a look at. But besides that, I'm just going to talk about the first aesthetics and what you can see from the bike as itself. Again, from the front, this one looks a bit more pointier and sharper. This one gives it a bit more of a squarer look by the looks of it. When we look at the finish on the paint on the engine, so this is a painted finish, black paint. You would find the same sort of a finish on your shaft drive as well, whereas on the 1300 it's got this sparkling black grey powder coat layer, which is really very nice. It's the same sort of finish they had on the 1300 GS as well, and that sort of theme runs right through the shaft as well. It's got that same beautiful finish, which I really like. Now in terms of the crash bar, it only got the lower crash bar. It's got the crash plate here, which is a nice addition by BMW. So if you tip the bike, it's not going to puncture your cylinder, so that's a nice thing. It's also got this extra bit here, and that's meant to prevent the bike from tipping over if you drop the bike off. Now in terms of the frame, this has got a folded frame as opposed to what you would find in the tubular frames that you get on the 1250 GS Adventure. I think in terms of cleaning, it'll probably be easier to clean this one. It does look a bit more nicer and streamlined. The foot pegs here, it's got a rubber insert, whereas the one on the 1250, it doesn't have a rubber insert. The stand is electronic assisted stand, so it's easier for you to put it on the double stand if you need to. 1250 doesn't come with that. In terms of the brakes, similar brake configuration, Brembo, single disc brake at the front, single disc brake at the back, 2 disc brakes at the front. This one says BMW, but it's actually Brembo on the inside. Well, that one just say Brembo right on the outside. Same configuration in terms of the parallel lever and the telelever. Something to note is that the horn is at the front as opposed to the 1250 GS. The horn is on the side panel, so that's a change. It's also got these fog lights on the top here, and the 1250 obviously has it on the bottom there. The X light as opposed to the classic asymmetric light that you have on the 1250. Now in terms of luggage, it's got the Vario system mounts here. The one on your right hand side doesn't have a power port, so there's no charging here. but it's got a power port on the rear rack, which is also a weather system rack, and it's also got a power port here on the left hand side as well. So none on the right, but yes on the left. It's got these mounting points for BMW luggages, so you got for your tank bag, it's supposed to mount here, and it's supposed to just lift up to allow you to fuel your bike if you need to. And then it's got mounts here on the side for some side bags. It's got a bigger drawer here, but you still can't close it, unfortunately. So that's a sad thing. It's got the GPS navigation mount, and I've put my CHIGEE AI05 on there, ready to roll. The handlebar configurations is the same. It's got this extra bit here, which is an improvement from the 1250. So it's meant to distribute the feeling from the road, and it's a new technology that they also have in the 1300 as well. So it's got a bit of a rubber bush there, and it's meant to give you better stabilization and better feel of the road. I might be wrong, but this is what I understand on it. Now again, this is the clutchless version, and it'll be something that I'll be definitely checking out today. In terms of the finish on the tank, it's got a brushed aluminium finish, slightly bright gray. You can actually see the brush finish there, and it's nicely sealed with a clear layer. On the 1250 triple black, it's actually painted gray with some stickers on there, and much of a muchness. I do like both the finishes. I think this finish is looks a bit more premium. It's got this rubber bits here. Some say they are for you to put your coffee cup on. I'm not sure if that's really true, but that's what most people say on YouTube these days. As far as the seat is concerned, it's got heated front and back seat. It's got this grey bit here, which I'm not a big fan of. I prefer it to be all black like that. Nevertheless, it's all up to individuals. The sticker, it's quite minimalistic, just that it's only got that one sticker there that says triple black, and the GS emblem, which is embedded into a tank, as opposed to the 1250. It's got a sticker on the tank and also a sticker at the front there, so that's a bit different. Now in terms of wind protection, it's got this large screen and really big wind deflectors at the front. You sort of get that on the 1250 as well. I feel that the 1250 screen is probably a bit more bigger than that one. I'm not sure, or maybe they are about the same size. Now this has got electronic screen thingy, which we'll try out later, and the 1250 is a manual screen adjustment. It's got the signal lights on the front handguard. I'm not a really big fan of it because I always got this paranoia that if I fall and if I break this, it'll be an expensive fix. I do prefer it being at the front, like how we have it on the 1250, but nevertheless, I suppose you could always remove this bit and mount it into a new replacement part. I'm not sure how much they cost, but that's that. Now my 1250 comes with a standard silencer. The 1300 comes with an acrophobic silencer. It does look really nice, looks pretty sleek. In terms of the tires, it's running the Michelin Anarchy Adventure tires, both front and back. Those were the stock tires that I had on my 1250 Adventure as well. I currently run the Metzeler Karoo 4 tires, and in my opinion they're the best tires for this bike. They're a bit noisier, but they're really good, really like it. It's still got the titanium headers for your exhaust pipe, similar to what you have on the 1250, which is good. The brake, I do like what they have done with the brake lever here, is that you can actually, now you can push this up and you can actually turn this up like that, so that you get higher. So that's pretty cool. I do like that extra function that they have. On the 1250, you had this other bit which is sort of push up and push down when you're going off road. So when you're riding normal, it's like that. If you're going off road, you just push it down. It works as well, but I think that's probably a bit more nicer. I'm not a big fan of the rubber bits. I probably remove them if I'm riding this bike. It's got the pillion pegs as well, which is nicer because it's still got that rugged the spikes on there, which is quite good. The 1250 didn't come with that, so I do prefer definitely this one over the 1250. And I think that's it in a nutshell. It has got this blind spot monitoring thing as well, which we will try out later on when we are riding the bike. But all in all, that's the comparison in a really short glance. I hope that makes sense, and now let's jump on the road. Now, believe it or not, I'm having to do this again today because yesterday for some reason my camera didn't record any audio. But anyway, I've got the bike here with me, the 1300 GS Adventure, and basically this is the clutchless version, or they call it the automatic shift assist, ASA. So in order to start the engine, you will have to make sure the gear is in neutral, and in order to get it to neutral, you just gently flick this, just only very gently, because it goes into parking when you park the bike, and you just have to very gently hold the brake and flick this once. It goes into neutral, and then you hold the brake and then you start the engine. Once you start the engine, in order to engage the gear, you have to put in your gear like how you would normally on a conventional bike. You press the brake, put the gear in, and then you can select whether you want to be on full auto or normal. This is a manual mode. Now if you press that, it takes it into the auto drive mode. So in the auto drive mode, you basically just drive like how you would drive an automatic car. So you don't have to shift or anything like that. It does all the thing for you. So it's pretty good in that sense. And then if you go in the manual mode, what you can do then is you can manually shift up and down as you would on your conventional bike, remembering that this the gear shifter on this isn't actually an actual, it's not giving an actual input to the gearbox, so it's not mechanical, it's just electronic. So it's just like an electronic switch that sends a message to the bike, asking the bike to, or the gearbox to shift up or down. Similar, so just think of it as a shiftronics that you will have on your car. You know, the paddle shifters that some of you may have on your car. Think of it as that, because essentially what that does is you hold your paddle shifters, positive, negative, left and right, and then you either shift up and shift down. But when you slow down, it will automatically drop the gear to match the speed. So it's not that if you're on manual mode, it's not full manual as you would find in your conventional manual gearbox where you have to shift down. So this one, it will actually shift down for you even when you're on manual mode. Now this bike has only done 800 odd kilometers. Yesterday me and Graham had a good run with the bike. We had a good play with it for a couple of hours. I'm just going to put it's got electronic windscreen, so I'm going to put the windscreen up, hopefully get a bit more less wind noise. There you go. Alright, so yesterday me and Graham had a bit of a play for a few hours on the bike, mainly just roads and tarmac, and we tried to see how it would perform on the bike. As you know, the bike has only done 800 kilometers. The tires are not fully scrubbed in yet, so we're not really taking it all that heavy. And these bikes, they need a bit of time before they sort of open up a little bit, the engine and all. It's very tight at the moment, and I think that's true for the gearbox as well. I'm finding the gear shifts a bit clunky, and I think that's to do with the fact that it's a very new bike, so it needs time to adjust. As far as the ASA is concerned, I think it's great. Like initially when I got on the bike yesterday and I was riding it, I felt a bit weird and I was looking for the clutch. But now on day 2 and even towards the end of day 1 yesterday, I found myself really eased into it without the clutch. It's actually quite surprisingly quite fun, because one less thing to worry about, and the bike really responds really well to that. You see how it shifted down? It's really good. Yeah, the bike really responds well to the throttle input, which then helps you know, get the right gear. Now the only thing I did realize is the shifting is a bit clunky. It's very clunky actually, and again, as I said to you, it's because it's a very new bike. And you know, it's got all the tech on the bike. So let's just talk a bit on what this bike has got. It's got the automatic height adjust thing, so the bike will automatically lower when you get to a stop, which is quite nice. It's also got, as you can see, it's got the blind spot monitoring. It's got a forward and a rear radar, so it's got like forward collision warning and so on. It's got the electronic windscreen, which you can just sort of adjust up and down like that. And I'm not getting any wind buffeting. Really nice, good field of view, and so on. It's also got the electronic stand, which helps you put it on double stand. As I said to you, the bike is heavier, it is bigger. Well, not really bigger in terms of it looks big from the front, and that's because it's got this boxy shape, and the 1250 GS Adventure has got a bit of a rounded, pointier shape. When you sit on the bike, it doesn't feel as big because you're sitting up higher, and the tank is actually down low, so you can see the tank is very low and it's flat. So because it's low and it's flat, it almost doesn't make it feel like it's a huge, large bike for some reason, and it actually makes it feel like it's not as large as it looks or feels. It's very nimble, really easy to ride. I found it easy to throw it around the corners as well. You know, I would be happy to own one of these bikes, to be honest. Sorry, yes. So Graham took the bike for a test. He had a bit of a play with the bike as well yesterday, and his initial thoughts about the bike was, I mean, one of the things that he was really happy about is the brakes, and I totally agree with him about the brakes. BMW put one of the best brake systems on their motorcycles, and you know, full Brembo systems and all. There were a time where they went with Hayes brakes, and I think they've been up and down with that. There have been some issues with the Hayes system about it leaking and so on, but they've gone back to Brembo, and this one said definitely have the Brembo brakes on them, and they are exceptional brakes. I mean, my 1250 has got really, it's one of the things that I realize when I ride a different bike, is I find it hard to get used to the brakes, because the brakes are so good on these things. And you know, BMW has taken it a notch further with the 1300 series, because they are really good. Like, it's really good brakes. You can see how it just bites in, and really love the brakes. Another thing that Graham commented about was how well planted the bike is. The bike is really well planted, really well balanced, which I also agree with him about that. Very well planted bike for sure. And the one thing that he wasn't really happy about was the ASA, but you know, even he said that it's probably because, you know, the bike is still very new. But he did make a comment that, you know, he could live with this. He could get used to having the ASA, and I absolutely agree with him about that too, because initially I felt the same. I'm like, oh man, there's no clutch on this thing. But then now I'm like, all right, this is not bad actually. It's all right. So the ultimate test would be to see how this thing performs off-road. I know Steve from a bike thing has got a similar model to what I've got here now, and he has made a comment about some issues with it off-road. Now he's probably doing a lot of, he comes from an enduro background, and he's probably doing a lot of gnarly single track stuff, which I don't think many of us would do on these bikes. But having said that, you can obviously, if you wanted to, you could. But it'd be interesting to actually get my first-hand experience on how it feels off-road, which we are going to try to do today. It's been trying to rain all weekend. It hasn't rained yet, so hopefully we get some good roads today, and you know, not muddy or patchy or anything, and we get to have a bit of fun taking this beast off-road. Now, in terms of the system on this bike, in terms of the functions and all that, I'm not going to go too much about it because I think I've done a pretty comprehensive review on the 1300 GS last year, and it's essentially the same. So on the menu here, you know, it's got the sport view, which I do like, and that one gives you the lean sensor, and it gives you your acceleration, brakes, and so on. So I do like that view. You know, on top here you've got your, if you use your, it's an adaptive cruise control system, so it looks at the car at the front and it sort of slows down when it gets too near to the car, and then you can obviously increase the speed just by pushing the button up there, get it up to 100. And you can adjust the sensitivity of that as well, you know, in terms of how far do you want it to be from the car. And if you switch lanes, you can see that it automatically picks up speed to the speed that you have actually set it to, and then it holds the speed there. So that's a nice thing which the 1250 GS Adventures don't have. So I do like that adaptive cruise control. Is it something that you need? Not sure about that. If you're doing a lot of highway miles, probably, but if you're not, then I suppose you could live without it. I mean, the GS 1250 has got a cruise control on there. That might be sufficient for most of us, but you know, this is a nice addition that the bike has. And then it doesn't have those you know, like to access your heated grips and to access like the windscreen and all, you sort of have to go into this shortcut menu where you press this button here, and then it sort of brings out the kind of thing. So you got your ACC, which is the which is the distance control. You got the heating, you got the windscreen, DTC, the suspension damping, you can sort of adjust it on the fly. The ride height, which is also at the moment it's on automatic for me, so when the bike stops it lowers down. Now ACC here is basically, as I said to you, that's how far you want the bike to be from a vehicle in front in terms of the automatic distance, so you can actually control that as well. And then the DTC is the traction control, and you can choose to turn it on and off. With the 1250 there's actually a button there which makes it a bit more easier. So what I do is I actually set the shortcut to the windscreen. So once it's set to the windscreen, I can just then so if I press that, so the moment I hit this button up and down, it just adjusts my windscreen for me. So essentially that's all I'm going to talk about with the setting on this thing, nothing more. You can look at my video. I'll put a link somewhere up here, and then you know that will give you all the details that you need in terms of the how you function, how the bike functions, and so on. Looks like I'm almost here to meet Graham, and then we can get on with our ride for today. Just wanted to point out, guys, how good is the CHIGEE AIO5 on this motorcycle. It's so easy. You just plug it out. I just plugged it out for my 1250 and just put it on here. No configuration required. My phone instantly connected with the device, and you know, all good. And I've got maps and everything running, and you know, it's just easy. Just one less headache. If you're using the BMW navigation cradle, and if you're to transfer your navigation cradle to another motorcycle, it requires you to pair it again and so on, and that's a bit of a pain, to be honest. So just easy for it to put it on there. So if you are looking for a CHIGEE AIO5 device, I've got some affiliate links in the bottom. You'll get a 10% discount if you use my affiliate link. I highly recommend this device. I have done a couple of videos on it already. I've also done one where I use the Gaia app on it as well. It's really good. At the moment I'm just using Waze. I use Waze for urban riding, but it's a bloody good system. And also, for those of you who don't know, CHIGEE is also going to be releasing the AIO6 for BMW. That is coming really soon, in 2025, the first quarter they say, and I'll be getting a unit for testing and a review as well, so stay tuned for that. Say hi to the camera. How's it going, mate? Yeah, good ride, really good ride. Alright, here we are with Graham, and we are riding towards the peninsula to give this bike a good test. Graham has planned out the route. He's normally quite good at planning routes, so let's see what he's got cooked up for us today. Okay. Just going around the twisties in the D mode. Handles pretty well with the gear shifts. And if you want it to downshift, you just have to press the brake once and then it sort of downshifts a little bit. So if you hit the brakes now, it will downshift. There you go. Picks up and goes on 6th gear, no issues whatsoever. Some good roads here. So all in all, in my opinion, the bike really handles well in the twisties. The gear shifts are good. The handling, the bike is very well balanced, and it knows exactly when to downshift. The brakes on these things, as I've said before, is really good. Just love the handling of it. Got really good wind protection as well. And just, yeah, it goes around the bends really well. Not as intimidating as you would expect with the size of it, but once you get it going, it actually handles really well. But it gives you the power when you need to. I'd be keen to test out the clutch version, but for now this DCT version seems to be quite alright actually. I think we're giving it a really good test, taking it around these roads here. Stop. Yeah, pull out. roads, on dirt roads. So let's see how this baby handles on dirt roads. So first things first, I'm going to put it on enduro mode. There we go. Enduro, and I'm on the automatic riding mode. Alright, the ergonomics for standing is really good. Really good ergonomics here. The body is got nice feel of the handlebar for my height. The pegs well planted on the pegs. The foot are well planted on the pegs. You sort of hit the brakes pretty easy. Don't really need to use the gears by the looks of it. Just putting it on enduro. I'm not going to ride it on enduro pro because I'm not too sure how that would work with the clutchless system. Okay, that was alright. A bit. Yeah, it's good. Stable, very stable. Not sure about the tires though, but this is pretty good. This is pretty good road. So, yeah, I think it will perform better on the Carouse. But the stock tire, it's very well planted. You can feel the weight down low. And no, I've gone into enduro mode, and it's gone to the enduro mode suspension, which is no, I'm happy with it. Yeah. No, it's quite good. I can get a bit of feedback from the foot pegs. Handles pretty good. Yeah. How bad is the sand? Sandy roads. It's all sand here. Is it bad?
Can't go further.
Oh, can't go further. Well, that's nice while it lasted. Good.
Good bit of sand.
Yeah, sorry.
You can say you rode it in the sand.
Yeah, we did ride it in the sand.
Yeah.
Couldn't do much otherwise, but yeah, no, it's really good. Like how the bike handles. So not much, unfortunately we can't do much off-roading because we're close to the beach and there really isn't much dirt road options here, but nevertheless we're trying to make the best of what we've got. What if we entered in there, Graham? Is that private property?
Someone's driveway. Property, Horty area.
Wow. just going to wrap up the day. So we're going to go to Yaringa Boat Harbour, and we're going to sort of share our thoughts with you there, and leave you to it. So see you there. Alright, Graham, thanks so much for joining me on this little 2-day ordeal that we've had with the 1300 Rhino. Yeah. It's been quite a bit of fun. It's been trying to rain for the last 2 days, and luckily we've just managed to get away from the rain. And
well, how long's it been? We've been trying to do this for the best part of a month.
Yeah, we've been putting off the whole
every weekend for the last month. It's rained.
Yeah,
it's been horrible.
And I'm sending Ross a message every weekend saying that I have to postpone because it's raining. So finally we got some good weather and we managed to get the 1300 Rhino. Yesterday I did a quick walk around on the major differences between the 1300 and the 1250 GSAs. One of the most notable things is obviously the power that the motorcycle produces. It makes an extra 9 horsepower and 6 Newton meter of torque compared to the 1250 GSA. Besides that, everything else is more aesthetics. There's a shitload more tech on the bike, and some of the things around the line, pretty much what the 1300 GS has got, this thing has got too. And it's also got the bigger tank, the 30-litre tank, like the 1250 GSA. It's got a taller windscreen, and I think the engine has been tuned, and it's ample of power for the weight of the bike. One notable thing is the stand. We noticed that the stand goes out, leans the bike quite forward, and that actually makes it a bit difficult. If you're on a slope, you're almost unable to get the bike upright straight without...
we won't mention the fact I had to rescue you already.
Yeah, Graham had to rescue me.
You didn't have your wheat Bix this morning.
Yeah, I didn't have my breakfast wheat Bix. Couldn't lift it up, and Graham had to rescue me, get the bike upright. But nevertheless...
that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, nevertheless, it's a great bike, really, for what it is. And the tech on there, the handling. So Graham, you took it for a spin yesterday, and
but front on,
yeah,
look how wide it is. It's like nearly twice as wide as Donna.
Yeah,
but I mean it's an imposing bike. But having ridden it yesterday,
yeah,
for a spell, same deal with the GS
1250.
Yeah,
yeah.
No, the 13.
Yeah, the 1300 GS. Yeah.
Really, my thoughts on it are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Having the same engine, and the looks are subjective.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention the looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, the engine is great. I love the engine.
Yeah.
Brakes are phenomenal.
Yeah, the brakes on it is really good.
Stonking brakes. Maybe, I don't know. That's what we were discussing earlier about how they'd be on the dirt. Maybe they're too strong on the dirt.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen some demos on how you use the brakes on these things. People like Miles Davies have done a good demo on it. I've seen Chris Urquhart also done a good demo on it. I think it's a matter of really getting to understand the bike and understanding how it works. I mean, for someone new, and if I were to ride this bike, jumping on this bike and going off-road without actually having ridden one before, I think it would be quite quite an experience. But to be honest, with my 1250, and I've done a fair bit of off-roading now with it. I mean, we don't do really gnarly things, but I can sort of understand how the brake works. But you're right, for someone new, it may be because it's so powerful. You only need to use 2 fingers to play with the brakes, and if you put a whole handful in without the ABS and the traction control, you probably slide out quite easily. But that again comes to experience with riding.
It's got the ABS. So.
Yeah,
ABS would cut in.
Yeah, we
And
cut
save
in.
you- save you.
Yeah, we cut in and save you. So the brakes on
imagine.
these things are phenomenal. How did you find the handling on the curves and?
Yeah, I mean, it's brand new.
Yeah.
It's only got what 800 k's on it.
Yeah, 800 k's
So-
when we picked it up. We probably put another 200 on it over the last few
So
days.
you
Yeah.
can tell that the gearbox, the engine is tight.
Yeah.
Fresh tyres, and it's got the Michelin Anarchies.
Michelin Anarchy Adventures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Adventures, which they're not my favourite tyre,
Yeah.
I have to say, but
They did pretty well.
they did pretty well. Yeah, no, handling is typical BMW, very, very neutral.
Yeah.
Good feedback from the front.
Yeah.
The rear suspension, I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah.
From a limited time on it.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing that might be able to be dialed out.
Yeah, so there is that setting on there, the damping setting and all that you can play around with. And it's got this advanced telelever and paralever. I personally, for my 1250, I find the ride a bit more stiffer. I feel a bit more. I'm getting a lot more feedback from the road as compared to my 1250 Adventure. They've definitely done some improvements, actually quite a bit of improvements on the suspension, really. And you've got to really ride it hard to be able to understand that. I think Graham pushed it quite hard yesterday on the bends as well. And but in terms of the size, it looks big and bulky. But once you're on it, does it actually feel big and bulky?
You don't feel the weight of it at all.
You don't
Once you're moving,
Yeah.
like I said, it is imposing bike. It's quite intimidating.
Yeah.
I don't know about loading that up, passenger on the rear, pillion. I mean, you're looking at that big weight, but there's not a feeling of weight as you're riding it, and it handles nicely.
Yeah.
I was at home on it straight away.
Yeah.
I was confident on it. They've retained all the good part of BMW. They've retained the handling aspect.
Yeah.
And they've made the motor even better.
Yeah.
That extra little bit of power
Yeah.
is really makes a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. It sure does.
The gearbox is typical. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, the agriculture gearbox, that still stays. Again, this is an ASA version, so really, I haven't actually ridden any ASAs before. This is my first ASA. Graham has ridden the Honda ASAs and
DCT,
the
Africa Twin.
Yeah, the DCTs on the Honda Africa Twin. I have not ridden one before. This is my first motorcycle with an automatic gearbox that I've ridden, and it's also probably first for BMW. I think they sort of introduced it on this particular model, and now they're rolling it out on the 1300 GS as well. So I really don't have much to say about it, but according to Graham, he's having ridden the DCT. The DCT on the Hondas is apparently very smooth and so on. But again, I have a feeling that the clunkiness of the engine, the clunkiness of the gearbox is probably related to the shaft drive. And that's probably why you get the clunkiness. And again, I think you would agree as well. It probably hasn't really broken in, has it? The gearbox. It probably will.
Well, you've got the. So it works in two ways, doesn't it? It works. You can press the button and it activated by your foot like a normal gearbox.
Yeah, the manual gearbox. Yeah.
Without obviously the clutch lever.
It's not there.
So you just tap the gear shift lever. And it shifts. Otherwise, you can put it into
a full automatic mode.
Fully automatic.
Yeah.
So really, to be honest, I mean, it's not my cup of tea. But I was surprised because I just adapted to it straight away.
Straight away, yeah.
I thought I'd be reaching all the time for it, but I didn't. And I mean, I could see the appeal of it, but it's not for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know how much it adds to the cost of the bike.
Yeah, yeah. So that's something I don't know either.
I think a part of the experience of riding a bike is
the clutch.
Everything, the throttle, the clutch.
Yeah.
I want to experience all that when I'm riding a bike myself.
Yeah. I think it's a very subjective thing, isn't it? It is. For what it does it like, even for me, I got on the bike and at first I was looking for the clutch. And when I stopped at a traffic light, my muscle memory, my hand is just looking for a clutch. But then half an hour riding the bike and you're on it, you're just, but I tell you what, if you're too up touring on this bike, and if you're using this bike mainly for touring, and too up touring and you're doing really long distance, long miles, the clutchless ride would be really, really good because it's less fatigue, and you know, you just twist the throttle, you go. Again, it's all about the experience. Some people don't mind it, some people like it. Me personally, I like the clutch.
It would come into its own if you're doing, say you're using the bike as a commuter.
Yeah.
You're going through big cities.
Yeah.
And then stop-start traffic.
Yeah,
you're
it's easy.
You're on freeways a lot.
Yeah.
In rush hour.
And you just twist the throttle from the traffic light and you just go bang, bang,
but
bang,
then
bang.
again, would you be using that bike as a commuter? Not really.
Yeah, that's right. But again, if that's your only bike, or if you're doing,
it can do it. It can do everything.
It can do everything. It just does it.
Yeah.
So again,
could use it like as a commuter.
But also, if you're used to riding a bike with a clutch, and if you're into doing rear wheel skids and turns and
So you said you can still do a wheelie on it.
Yeah, well,
I've yet to see you do one.
I can't do one. I'm not.
You've got to prove the point.
Maybe someday. But there is a video. I think Smokey, who is a YouTuber from Belgium, he has actually done a wheelie on this thing. So it is possible. You just have to relearn how to ride it without the clutch. So there's a lot of reprogramming that you have to do in order to ride it without the clutch, and that's just part of the experience. But I think it's for what it is. If that's your cup of tea, it's great. But putting the DCT aside, because that's a subjective thing. You can choose to ride it, to buy it with the DCT or without. And again, whether or not the DCT is the best in the market, it's hard for me to say anything. And Graham has ridden one before, but there are probably a lot of other options. But again, this is probably the only one with a shaft drive, automatic gearbox. So it's really hard to compare.
Yeah, I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, it's really hard
over the Honda.
Yeah, it's really hard to compare apples to apples in this case. But I think BMW has obviously put in the research that they needed in order to get the bike up and out in the market. So I do actually, if I'm happy, if this was my only bike in the garage, I'd probably be all right with it. Personally, having owned the 1250 Adventure, I still like my 1250 Adventure. I still think my 1250, my Rhino, has got probably a long partnership to go with me, and I do like it. And look, I haven't even ridden the bike to its full capacity yet, so I'm probably going to still hold on to my 1250 Rhino. But nevertheless, if you're out in the market for a brand new GSA, there's no more 1250s in the market. There's only the 1300 ones. The only decision you need to make is whether you want to have a clutchless drive or a clutch.
They're discontinuing the 1250.
The 1250s are discontinued as of this day, so this is the only option you've got.
Yeah.
And I think you'll be pretty happy with the bike. It's quite pleasing aesthetically. Personally, I like the looks of it. I like how it looks, and I know it's a whole matter of controversial. It's a very controversial matter, and I'm happy to agree to disagree. I like the looks of it. Graham doesn't. He's keeping his his thoughts to himself, and look, it's all over social media.
When you're riding it, you can't see.
Yeah,
it's only other people.
It's all over social media and stuff. The people that like it, the people that don't like it. The X-Lite, when it came on, everyone didn't like the X-Lite, but now the amount of 1300s that they're selling, so they're doing something right, I suppose. So I think that probably sums up what we're trying to achieve today, isn't it?
It's like I was saying. I mean, if I was to pick a bike to go around the world on, it would still be
the Rhino,
one of these. Because it will just do it.
Yeah,
it does everything, in the middle. Yeah, but it does everything. It will do everything.
It'll do everything. It'll take you everywhere. Off-road, on-road, dirt. We even tried a bit of sand just now. It functioned pretty all right. It's a big bike. Yeah. It's a heavy beast. But you know what? It's bloody comfortable too.
It gives you confidence.
It does. It does.
Yeah, and straight away you feel at home on it.
Yeah.
And I could recommend it if you're in the market for a big tourer. And I love the factory shaft drive, of course.
And the Boxer.
And the low central gravity with the Boxer engine. Yeah. Those two together, put some decent tyres on it, adventure tyres on it.
The Karoo 4s, excellent tyres. Love it.
Yeah. So all in all, probably I rate it probably 10.5 out of 8.5 out of 10.
8.5 out of 10. That's a pretty good rating. Look, I don't think there is going to be a bike that is perfect for like it's going to score a 10 out of 10. There's never going to be there, but I think 8.5 over 10, that's a pretty good score, and I probably sit on the same sort of 8.5, 9 over 10 for me as well on this bike. Really love it. It's been good. It's confidence inspiring. It does the job. Beautiful bike, beautiful engine, nice exhaust tone to it. Yeah, it looks intimidating, but once you get on it, you feel right at home with it. So I suppose that's our summary for today, Graham.
I think that's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Just want to wish Happy New Year to the viewers, and yeah.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Hopefully by the time this video is released, we would have hit 1,000 subs on the channel. I'm hoping,
you're getting close now.
Yeah, as we stand now, we are sitting at about 935, close to 940 subs. So hopefully by the time this video is released, we probably reached the 1,000 mark. So guys, come on, hit the sub button, give this video a like, do share, do subscribe, and stay tuned for more adventures in 2025. Adios guys, bye bye.
Cheers, see ya.